Welcome back, friends. Last guy here, and it's time for the adventure of the Clouded Kokoro for episode 4, or chapter, thing 4 of the Great Ace Attorney. So it's time for Sherlock Holmes time. And obviously, we're going to be there. And yeah, this is going to be a lot of voices.
I begin to think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed. Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes wandered, following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea, leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening. To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back. Lit in the soft glow of gas lamps, a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Someone who could throw a knife? Oh great, a voice I don't remember. 19th February, this is the next day, 9:47 a.m., British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice, his office. Did you sleep last night, Miss Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious, I felt like we were staying in a palace. With all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time in the SS Bury, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. I spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except, when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Haha! Oops! Sorry about that. The building was so impressive and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. In a lodging house in Japan, that some money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. Jesus! I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were presented with the bill. Ah, I really am sorry. No, neither of these kids are responsible, okay. Never mind, we must find some more affordable lodgings straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. Ah, London is a scary place, and I should have taken that money. Ah, good morning to you this early hour. What voice did I give this guy again? Oh, yes, well... Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Zato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eye even in the presence of the imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom practices. Oh yes, it was very eye-opening, thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Miss Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh. No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure. I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended, unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? The truth? The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment. Well, Lord Von Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Evil laugh! Evil laugh! Oh my god. I just can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent. I assume he didn't kill the man. But maybe he did? Why would you ever get your own hands bloody, right? When you could, you know, have other people do it for you when you have that much money. Mr. Naruhodo. It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth. And then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Well, it's time to move on, that's what he means. Time always moves forward. Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. Oh, that is a fake death! Oh, he faked that! Oh, he totally faked that! That was not him in there, no way! Unless somebody really wanted to murder his ass, which is also possible. No. What? Mr. McGilded is... dead? I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. It's someone else's corpse, it's gotta be. McGilded's death. I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there was a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yes, of course. That was the scene of the crime which Mr. McGilded had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? That is being investigated as we speak, but already. The police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of Mr. McGilded. That's awful! The man must have slipped inside whilst the bailiff's detention was elsewhere. That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. How could that have happened? We wanted to get his ass. That is also being investigated as we speak. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Like, you could say in theory that he meant to burn it down but locked himself in on accident. But how? Well, we know the door was locked in some way, so... Well, it must be making tracks now. It's time for the inspection. Sorry? What inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I am told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But, then who was Mr. McGilded talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to the police. Poor Mr. McGilded. Should have taken his money. Should have taken that dead man's money. I would have taken that dead man's money. British court. And I would not have suffered for it. So how did you find your first taste of your country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow. Mr. Naruhodo means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old, and will not do the jury system for 200 years. Wow, Sasato-san has such a way with words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. Is she psychic? Okay, is the girl psychic? Girl psychic! Is he whispering or is he saying it to himself in his head? I thought it was South Thoughts. Girl Psychic. Girl Psychic. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. The most advanced in the world, is it? Because it's the first one doing whatever. It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Simple? That was simple? As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent, wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. There was fixed evidence. Boy, I'm gonna cane your ass. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much is, at least, is an undeniable truth. Which is precisely why I have prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What was he going to say before? New case. Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me it's a murder, and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. I am also psychic. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read? Yeah, right? He did just read your mind. That is to say, no one has died, as yet. And the trial will not be today. There is plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. The murder will take place in 23 hours. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. Ha! So the trial's tomorrow then. I get a day. Is everything alright? Oh yes, I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was... well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out to be a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Nadahodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. Gilded's trial. Ah yes, I nearly forgot. There is one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh! If the situation remains unchanged, the trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented. And if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. It'd be amazing if he just keeps giving us guilty people. Because this guy's actually corrupt. Yes, that's right. Here we go again. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Oh wow, we should have just stood here for 10 minutes. Last time he mentioned the 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. Probably for a guy who doesn't sleep. And one more thing, Mr. Nadahodo. There is something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asugi. I knew this was coming, he had to. I would be interested to hear what exactly you mean by that. Well, Kazuma never told us about the thing. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazuma always used to say, you see, that he wanted to learn how the greatest justice system in the world works so he could change hours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work towards that myself. And there's another thing. Oh! Another thing? Continue. On the way here on the steamship, you said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done it if he'd ever made it to that point. You're out of time. Well, thank you for an enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's all this about? Mr. Sogi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? So, I wish you the best of luck, and bid you farewell. Okay, she totally had it for Kazuma, and she's upset he didn't trust her with whatever the hell he was going to tell us instead. There's something very important that I have to do. Kazuma-sama, what did you mean? I wish I knew, but honestly, he never told me. We check the sword, check the sword. Anyway, we had better talk to the detective, don't you think? Oh no, just leave me here. Yes, you're right. Does he have fries in his pocket? I hope I'm just imagining, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. He has fries in his hand! He's eating chips! Okay, let's see here. We can only examine. Alright. Okay, we've looked at all this before, right? No check marks, though. Man's got some fries. I want some fries. Are they called chips or fries? I forget. Was it France that calls them chips? No. Europe also calls them chips. Yeah, I thought they were pocket fries. They're hand fries. Or hand chips. Rum! Can we try? Oh my god, he can just create bread! This is a man with power. We should listen to every word he says. Could we trouble you? What do you think? Lovely weather, isn't it? Alright, what voice we get in this guy? Yeah, eating like a barbarian. Oh my god. Okay, so it's a gruff older gentleman. What's the weather got to do with anything? Why not? What's the weather got to do with anything? Listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. Some whippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out of your hand, you know. But Sasada-san told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man. I'm a very busy man. You see me making bread here? I'm British Jesus. Oh my god, he's just making that bread. Look at that. I can't. Look at that. What's it? More bread? More bread? Okay, let's stop. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes to you a talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there would be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? No, he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. And all because some bumpkin who's here on a jaunt from a country I've never even heard of. I feel like I should be angrily eating fries and yelling these lines just to get really dedicated, but I also don't want to waste fries. Hear that ripping sound? That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ionosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Sue. It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable! How did she pull that off? She is a serene lady. So I am Lord Strongheart has asked me to fill you in on the case. I don't know where his chin and his throat begin, by the way. The name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Is he from the Sholmes that I don't know? Does this detective's name mean something to her? He's in the books, I guess? Inspector Okay, now I gotta look up Gregson. Unless it's a play on Inspector, are you perhaps... the Inspector Gregson? Hmm? Huh? Curiosity biting. Yeah. Who is this? You're acting like you know this man, Mr. Sato, but he's a London detective. There we go. Inspector Gregson. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Oh, he is from Sherlock Holmes! He works for Scotland Yard, okay. Okay, so he is just straight up from Sherlock Holmes. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Like, everything should be a Sherlock Holmes reference, obviously. Very well? Yes, he's featured prominently in the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Ranced Magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You have earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotland Yarders. Those were his own words. That's terrible. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Sholmes isn't particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not, and thanks to the magazine, my name's known all over London town now. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that I start with this, I have to admit that to start with I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and my reputation at the yard went through the roof. But it's been really hard to hide the fact I can make potatoes. And I think this is a bread piece there. Well, that's wonderful. No, it's not! There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. They whispered rumors about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumors? Are you quite sure? There could be rumors that you're cool. He's changed since he started appearing in those stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? They say it to my face, including my wife. Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying. But I know what folk are like. Everyone's a D-bag. I'm sure that's what they're saying. As sure as eggs is eggs. Huh. I get the feeling this detective could be very hard work. A lot of work. Oh dear, perhaps a sudden rise to fame does change people. The case. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned at the yard, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on a briar road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in hospital unconscious. That's despicable. What a sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? I suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Susato takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruhodo. Brace yourself, Ryunosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. He barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit. Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question? Let me stop you there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to help the bloke now. Why ever not? Simple. He confessed. The prosecutor's been assigned to the trial tomorrow. It is Lord Barrack von Zeeks. Oh, that's why. That's why nobody ever wants to do Jack. No! Sounds like you've heard of him, then. Yeah, we just beat his ass. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord von Zeeks. We got his ass. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. The Reaper of the Bailey. The Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Barrack von Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday. Mr. McGill told us about him before the trial, didn't he? When Von Zeeks stands for the prosecution... I already forgot McGilden's voice. Screw it. When Von Zeeks stands for the prosecution, they call the accused his sacrificial lambs. And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. Except this time. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname. I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty, is that it? Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector. In yesterday's trial against Lord von Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. Holy! Ha! And what of it? Oh, well, I think... that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Ah! Magnus McGilded came a cropper in that omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't really say you saved the defendant, can you? What? What are you saying? Look, if Von Zeeks could get the dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. He doesn't work miracles, he works magic. Black magic. Like this potato here. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are you really supposed to believe that? Ah. Right, well, I filled you in as I requested, and I'm very nearly out of chips. No, you are not, sir. Your infinite chips. I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place? That's correct, ma'am. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You've branded him a criminal already? Yeah, we do guilty before innocent. He's as good as... shaking like a leaf in his cell, he is. It'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's Inmate 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. I swear if this is butts. Inmate 53, thank you. Why are the clocks suddenly loud? Or the cogs? So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Is something troubling you, Mr. Naruhodo? To tell the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again. She held firm against him, though. Well, you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage, too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent... You could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in his cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shock of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try, so I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Do you really think you had to ask? After all, I am your judicial assistant, right? Like, what does he ask? Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes, let's go. Alright, move. Let's go see the guy first. This should be shorter so that we can do all this for this episode. These prison cells are where suspects are held whilst they await trial. Visiting is permitted at certain times. We're going to run to Sholmes at some point. Hey, wow. They probably don't even dust this place. 19th February, local prison cell number 9. So these are British prison cells. Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these cold stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruhodo. You're making it seem worse. She's really tearing up. Apparently our client is in this cell here. But it's so dark that at the back there I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding in the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I? Am I a cat, as yet with no name? Calling me by a number, utterly unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonably. I refuse to answer. Until we see him, I was just making guesses at voices. It's Naruhodo. What? What do you think is going on here? Apparently Cat in a Hat's back there. I have no idea. But I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tirade of complaints was in Japanese. What? Don't be Hosonaga, don't be Hosonaga, don't be... Okay, it's not. You know, doing Cat in the Hat voice would be amazing. Okay. Doing Cat in the Hat voice would be amazing here, just because Geisel was hella racist against the Japanese. Let's see. Excuse me, but who? And then... Shh, quiet! Was he Japanese chaplain? What's he doing exactly? They're all around, hiding. I know they are. Okay, I gotta find a voice for this guy, but for now... What the balls am I looking at here? He's a reference to something, and I have no idea what. They're watching, listening, even now. I can sense it. So it's a paranoid man. Right, so could I ask you who exactly... There you are! You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it, you're a ghost. A ghost? Okay, apparently just fidgety is the way to do this guy. We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you... Japanese, by any chance? This is beyond my wildest dreams! Okay. Alright. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am, in a frightful fix, in a foreign land. I'm crying. Oh god, my eyes. So hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? What compassion my fellow countrymen show to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nippon. A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. Do not correct him. Itchy eye. Would you be so kind as to tell us what's happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can, I will. Shan't stay sullen and silent. Please stop. Please stop. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for your cooperation. I am a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Susata Mikotoba. I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notoriously named Natsume! Suseki Natsume. Natsume means something, but I don't remember what it means. I'm not gonna look it up right now. You can present him things? Let's present him our badge. Our armband. Here's our armband. Ah, crap, hit the wrong buttons. Present. Yes, yes! The symbol of one of our gracious empire's first-rate lawyers! Which means, of course, you'll stand by my side. You'll defend me. Oh, no, sorry, that wasn't why I was showing it to you. Oh. Then why else would you show me that? Oops! In hindsight, that probably wasn't the best idea. Suseki Natsume. Right? He's secretly a member of the Ginyu Force. He's gotta be. Suseki Natsume-san. What an unusual name. Call me Suseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? You mean an alias? That's right, Naruhodo-san. No, don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined than that. And haiku, that really reminds me of home. Did I hear you say that you were a visiting student sent here over by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago I was told to go and study English. First I had to suffer that misery, and now this. It's beyond the pale. Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh. But just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it? No! What do you mean? What do you mean? If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I see. Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. I tendered a blank piece of paper. White, on white, washi. You must be a man of great standing. Oh yes, so I'm often told. And often like to be told, it seems. Accusation against you. Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? No, I didn't do it. I didn't commit the atrocious murder. Murder? Oh, no, it's alright. That woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? That's why ghosts. You didn't see the stabbing. I didn't see anyone. What? If I'd seen the person who did it, you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? It's the curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. God help me if I remember his voice tomorrow. So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about the case. Next one, yep, about the case. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear with heavy fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my accursed lodgings. Sure the bookshop wasn't accursed too? As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat she was, and just as I went to overtake her, I stabbed. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. How terrible! Shake, 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 shake. I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran, as fast as my legs could carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. I didn't want to die too. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. You think I know of any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that? I'm diffident, shy, timid, and sure. I can't talk to people. I see. A young woman unknown to Soseki-san. And at the time it happened. Who else did you see nearby? Did anybody pass by? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Oh, great. So the victim was unknown to you and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates something of a conundrum, doesn't it? What conundrum? Conundrum. This man needs the Ghostbusters, yeah. What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. Then he apparently fled without having been seen. I did. Then who reported him? But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit. Also that. Ah! You! What did you just say? I didn't say anything. I'm thinking in my head. What do you want? Nothing. I didn't say anything. Oops. Perhaps I thought that a little loudly? Okay, everyone's psychic. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. Even better is Blue speech is just him talking to himself, thinking he's thinking to himself. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested? Sorry? He didn't touch the victim, and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So what if racism was the answer? So how did the police ever discover that he was there in the first place? Oh yeah, she's right. It was him! That accursed great detective! He led the police to me! Oh, Sholmesy! Of all the bad luck! Accursed great detective? Could it be? Shall never forget that man's name as long as I live! With his hearty laugh and his self-proclaimed greatness! Brash, big-headed, busybody, be gone! May you be accursed until the end of your days, Hairlock Sholmes. There's gotta be a joke behind that in Japanese. I knew it. Can't get away from that man. Mr. Sholmes? Oh, this just started. Well, I didn't expect to hear that name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me. This is the police. Put the weapon down. Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but it wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting dietary discrimination devils. You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of the police, grinning like a Cheshire cat. That Hairlock Sholmes. It's actually Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And this overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman, me, this weak, stooped kitten of a man. I wonder what great deduction process led him to this conclusion this time. You mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged in the way. Of course you were. That's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing questions after questions at me. In impossible English. Fiendish, foreign, film, flammery. Well, we are in England. You can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point. But my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say. I just kept repeating things like, yes I do, and I'm fine. Next thing I knew, I was in manacles. Before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine, he's not fine now. Mr. Naruto Esquire! Oh, you can just call me Mr. Naruto, and when we're speaking English, a simple Mr. is more than enough. Oh yes, I'm worried, yes, they've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. But please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, Why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself, on a study tour. A student? Why did you admit this? You fool! Everything Ryunosuke does is dumb. I defended a case in the Old Bailey, only the one, though. At this moment in time, I really don't know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Did you have to twist the knife, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be. Son of a... Shut up, Ryunosuke! Shut up! I'm not even the foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm a sort of locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband, that mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. It's a keepsake from the man who should have been here. He was my best friend. A keepsake? I feel like he just wants to say the F word right now. I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me. Goodness, why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Sasaki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Someone not to be trusted. I heard them openly laugh about me before, and my ears shut without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said. And of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say the man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful! They're wrong! I've studied more English than half of the policemen out there in the streets. I traveled halfway around the world to learn about these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Saseki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. Huh? I'll do what I can, for the time being. What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. If we can find some clues, it will give us a much better chance, I'm sure. Oh yes, thank you! I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Welcome, student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. We should be going then, Mr. Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. Pulling out. Okay, so present, move. Okay, so we're going to move. But that's it for now. That'll be next time. So I had fun. Hope you have fun watching. That's what's all about it. Having fun. Thanks for coming by, and see you next time.